So, at the start of the American Revolution, it looks like it's going to be a slam dunk for the British. They have nearly every advantage on paper that you can think of. So, it really should be a very quick and easy war for them. They have the strongest army in the world. They're well supplied. They have ships, they have guns, they have uniforms, ammunition, you name it. They're also very well trained, and many of them have fighting experience. It hasn't been that long since the French and Indian War, so a lot of the the military leaders have had experience in that war as well. They also have the strongest navy in the world. They have not that long ago defeated the Spanish Armada and have ever since been sailing the seven seas as top dog. They have the ability to attack from sea. They have the ability to relocate, so they can take troops from one part of the colonies to the next very seamlessly. And they also have the ability to get more supplies. They have supplies if they're getting them from New England all the way down to the South. They can do so very easily. They also have allies and mercenaries. They have loyalists primarily in the South, but throughout the colonies, they have loyalists that are willing to help them. They still remain loyal to the king. They are able to persuade Native Americans to join their cause, promising them, of course, that if they help them, they will help protect Native American lands. And then they also have a working monetary system where they can pay people to come fight for them. So whether it is the Hessians from Germany or others from around the world that they can hire to come wage war, they have the ability to do so. So, how do we do it then? How did we defeat the most powerful military in the 18th century? First, we have home field advantage. And when people think of that, they think that you have the knowledge of the land. Where is it safe to travel? What are shortcuts here and there? So that's all true. That's part and parcel to home field advantage, but that's not the only thing. They also have shorter supply lines. They don't have to get their reinforcements from across the Atlantic Ocean. They don't have to get lots of supplies from across the Atlantic Ocean. And also, there are friendly civilians there as well. Um, they don't have to worry about as much. Now, in the South, like we said, there are loyalists, but for the most part, they don't have to worry about civilian spies that are going to run and tell the British everything that they're doing. Most of the colonists are on their side, so they don't have to worry about um, people going behind their backs. They're also fighting for a cause. Freedom is a very big motivator for people fighting in the Continental Army. They want to be their own country, especially after the Declaration of Independence is passed and they start talking about freedom. It also can be advancement or a better life. There were many either former slaves or slaves themselves that fought because they thought they were going to get their freedom. They thought they were going to advance. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't end up being the case for a lot of them, but they were willing to do that. Many impoverished folks thought that fighting would lead them out of poverty, that they would be able to get a check for fighting. Also, another reason revolution is illegal. If they lose, especially the leadership, if they lose, they are likely to be either put on trial for treason, possibly executed for inciting a rebellion, but they're fighting for their lives for the most part. Another reason is leadership, tactics, and weaponry. George Washington is by no small measure an incredible leader. He understands how to get things done on a battle space. He knows the ins and outs of war. He also knows that the best way to lead is by to surround yourself with smart people. He does that with leadership like Baron von Steuben, by including Alexander Hamilton to try to get the Continental Congress on his side, and then also guerrilla warfare. I know not the guerrilla that's on this page, but guerrilla warfare is very unconventional for the 18th century. The British will not participate in it because they think that it's what heathens do. It's how savages fight. You're supposed to just line up in straight lines across from each other and shoot each other in the face. But guerrilla warfare, especially at the Battle of Saratoga and under the leadership of Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox in the South toward the end of the war, guerrilla warfare proves to be a very effective tactic. Not to mention the ability to shoot accurately with rifles. The technology that we have um, is key. We're able to shoot from long distances where we're still at a safe distance. The British muskets are not nearly as accurate as some of our rifles are. Now, that is not to say that all soldiers in the Continental Army had rifles. That's not true. But our sharpshooters did, and our sharpshooters were able to wreak havoc on the British Army with that technology. And finally, but not to be overlooked, the French. They are a huge reason why we are able to turn the tide and end up winning the war. We didn't really have a navy before the war. We started to build one in 1775, but as you can imagine, ships are huge and they're expensive. So there was only so much we could do during the American Revolution. So the navy that the French provides, it is a huge help. The stuff they provide, soldiers, they provide money for us. They loan us money. They give us ammo, clothing, things like that, that you need to wage war. We got that from them, and then leadership as well. Um, we, even though Baron von Steuben was an ex-Prussian army officer, Prussia being part of Germany, he was living in France. It was the French king and queen that sent Baron von Steuben over to help us at Valley Forge. Also, we have people like uh, the Marquis de Lafayette, who was already over here, but we can lump him in with the French. And also General Rochambeau, who is very key at the Battle of Yorktown. We get a lot of leadership from them as well. So it is by no small measure the French that helps push us over the edge towards victory. So that's how we did it, y'all. It was supposed to be a slam dunk for the British, but one of the biggest upsets in war history and military history comes at the hands of the Americans over the British in the Revolutionary War.